This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason, what do you have on tap for us today?
Well, it's like, I initially planned to talk about, like something that would involve like a valued contributor to this podcast, like previously, but that didn't happen because she's, busy, like, living her best life right now, and like more power to her. Great. But that just means that, hey, like I'm just have to do the best of 2025 list right now, which includes the series I was going to talk about with her, at this time. Yeah. So, like, like in terms of like, what I saved like the worst of the year, like pick, like, for this, like, for later in this, like, in this list. But, I just want to say that, Animal Pound by writer Tom King and artist Peter Gross, that was thoroughly depressing and not helpful at all. I mean, Gross's art, in terms of like, giving like its animal characters like, expressiveness, like, like beyond like, that of like, like normal animals like, get, that was like, really great. But in terms of just, like King updating, Orwell's like parable about like about the like like issues of fascism. Well, it's like it's really not helpful when the fascists are in the house, stealing your stuff, like, destroying everything, and just, like really just, like making bending things to their will. Like like if you like live through 2025 and just like, we're just like, like in a fetal position, like, just like about what was everything that was going on, or if you weren't in a fetal position and were just, just trying to like, like find ways to endure, well, this is the series that would give you like, the incentive to, get there more than anything else. It was really depressing. It wasn't any help, and I really didn't enjoy it. And I'm going to get it like shoot it right out of my library more than anything else. So yeah, do better next year, like Mr. King. Yeah, I really like your work on Wonder Woman, but you need to that you got to do better from here on out. So, but as far as like the honorable mentions, well, there's the heroic legend of Arslan from Hiromu Arakawa, which I was really kind of worried about in terms of like, like do I want to keep reading this series? And then its most recent volume basically delivered a very like strong statement that yes, I do want to do this. Like it basically just like finally like turned like a lot of the issues I had with the series around, and I hope that it like keeps doing this. But there's another series that actually did this a lot better, than I was expecting, like, that I'll talk about later on. And then there's, like, Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson, um, and also, like, by Sammy Basri and Juan Cabal that, finally, hit its stride in volume 3 just in time to get canceled in volume 4. So there you go. And then there's, John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America by, Simon Spurrier and Aaron Campbell, which was a which I had my issues with like how Spurrier wrapped up his like Hellblazer series like with Black Label previously, but even though this current series like started out just like dealing with like, oh, like things are bad in America right now. Well, it's like it eventually it's like like delivered like a solid like intelligent Hellblazers that that really just made me appreciate like the writer's grasp on on the character at the end. So there you go. And then there's it's like a Mark Russell and Ricardo Melfi's Traveling to Mars series, which was a low key bummer in terms of the fact that you've got a guy who is like 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 dealing with like his like terminal cancer that is like selected in order to like select to go to on a one-way mission to Mars in order to like assert this one company's claim to its mineral rights. Well, it's even though it's it's kind of depressing as it goes, like if you get on its low key depressing vibe, it's actually kind of like kind of enjoyable, which I wasn't expecting, and it's definitely the most enjoyable thing I've read from Russell in recent memory. And then there's Rare Monsters Live Volume 2 from Carl Starks and Peter Kowalski, which is the second volume of their meta take on what slasher here villains do in between their like their slasher antics. Like it basically has a an FBI guy who is just trying to like you know do the right thing, and even though he was pinpointed as being hey, you're obligated to do this thing at the end of volume one. Well, it turns out that he is much smarter than that and has a plan to do get the bad guys for what they're doing in volume two. And even though Dark Horse you know does indicate it's in the Starks and Kowalski business, going forward. Well, I would really like to see them do a volume three to like show us what they're going to do for like for for the series going forward. And then there's Innocent Rouge, which I was worried that Dark Horse wasn't going to do, at when they published the final volume of Shinichi Sakamoto's Innocence series, which was ostensibly all about um the honorable executioner of pre-revolutionary era France. Um and it's that series was good, but when it ended on a transitional note, I was like, oh man, it's aren't you gonna tell us what's gonna happen next? Well, yeah, it turns out that they are going to tell us what happens next, but that next note is compelling, messy, and complicated in equal measure. And at the same time, though, even though I wasn't like thoroughly on board with it, I'm really glad that Dark Horse is guy come is delivering it for the going forward with the next volume coming out in in May. So there you go. But that's the honor roll. As far as the actual top 10, well, it's it's a bit more complex than I had expected because it's it's normally it's I try to talk about series that really just like inspire me to just go beyond what's delivered before, not just the regular stuff. It's but so yeah, it was hard to talk about what was the best of the year this year, and that's why I'm starting with number 10. That is Cat and Crazy by Wataru Nadatani. He previously delivered the thoroughly enjoyable Cat and Gamer series that was fun, but Cat and Crazy took that took the hijinks of this series and actually made them into a more complex and in detailedly enjoyable series about the travails of cat ownership. And I really enjoyed what he did in these first two volumes, and I am thoroughly looking forward to what he does in I guess subsequent volumes as well. Like, is this going to appeal to people who aren't cat owners? Probably not. But really, it's I thoroughly enjoyed, what he did in these first two volumes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. Then you get to volume nine, sorry, number nine, the Night Eaters, volume three of their Kingdom Come, which I had hoped to talk about with Christine, for this podcast, but it didn't happen. And I will say that, like, yes, it did stick the landing. The Wonder Kings did, deliver a thoroughly enjoyable like climax to their series, even if, before this climax, happened, there's a lot of like, busy work going on in terms of, how they came into their power and just, like accepted it, like in their own way. So there's a lot of busy work there, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll be able to talk with Christine about how she enjoyed it as well, or if she enjoyed it. We shall see. And and from there, now we get into the realm of superhero comics because like hey, like the Ting twins are like very much like like superhero fans. Would they have enjoyed like Wolverine and Revenge as much as I did? Probably not. But, I thoroughly I did enjoy, like, Jonathan Hickman and Greg Capullo's story of, Wolverine, like, dealing with a, like a post-apocalyptic world where, like, where he it's like where he just, has to, like, like, settle scores with the likes of Omega Red, like, Mastermind, Deadpool, and even Colossus, really. And also, like Sabretooth, because of course Wolverine has scores of Sabretooth. And this is like a very good, like assessment, I take on Wolverine's character that I really enjoyed, and that I am like really going to like like show to friends who like who love Wolverine and just like who like appreciate his character, and also like like, the bit at the end where he winds up in limbo and just like tells his resident like demon lord basically, hey, you're in my seat. That's a great Wolverine moment, and kudos to Kickman and Capullo for delivering on that. Also from the like in the realm of superhero comics is it's think it's number 7 spot, Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor. Basically, Superman is a great, moral character who just who he's going to do the right thing, regardless of who it involves, even if it's his like like his nemesis, the guy who's like tried to kill him more often than not. So when Lex Luthor basically tells him like, "Hey, Superman, I'm dying. Are you gonna help me?" Superman's gonna be like, "Yes, Lex, I will." It's like, and hopefully, it's like, I will show you by by my dedication to like making you better, like um that you will understand just what like like what compassion is, and how you can be a better person as well. And that's great, especially like how like writer Mark Wade and artist Brian Hitch detail it, just from an understanding of just like Superman's fundamental decency, and also the like, epic nature like of like his like his attempts to like save Luther, and also like what's at stake in terms of that, and also the it's like the nature of the Black Label like setup, because hey, like you can just like set like like tell your own like continuity like in this thing, and like and Wade and Hitch make the most of this, because I believe that hey, if this is how like Superman's story has to end, you know it's honestly really good. Like I really enjoyed this, and also it's like this is like one of the series that I could- so what was it, so when I decided to like buy, I got this through Amazon's buy two get one free sale, because I bought it with this um Meat Eaters, and also the oh I Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2. This was easily the best of them. It's like, and I guess I'm glad that I got it through that through that deal. But also even better was volume 22 of What Did You Eat Yesterday? Now this has been a series about two gay guys and what they it's like it's like what they eat or they eat on a regular basis. And it's like and while I don't the it's like and while it's Shiro and Kenji, it's like their stories about what they eat is like a lot of like it's been thoroughly like thoroughly enjoyable. It's like well it's like this volume is like like a more special than anything else because it also involves the story of like they're good friends like like Mr. Koinata and Gilbert getting married. It's like even though like they get married, well like Shiro's like like giving the best man speech like at their wedding, and it's a very moving speech that is much about his love for his love for Kenji as it is for the like the main character the main characters of the weddings as well. And even though it's like the subsequent like chapters make it clear that that Japan just does not have like a proper like gay marriage like standard as well. I like I really like want to see like these two guys properly tie the knot in the series like going forward. Like it was like like fun, like enjoyable. It's like and I really and makes him feel makes their struggles like like feel believable and relatable as well. I really enjoyed this, and even though this series like is like has been like like fun, like and it's like entertaining on its own terms. It's like it's like this volume like makes it feel like particularly relevant, like in terms of our particular society. Like maybe not quite as much as like the next volume, number 5, Criminal the Knives. This is a series that I thought that I was was done and I had basically like and like ended as like a complete circle like with Cruel Summer, but Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips actually managed to bust out that like that storyline into this one while but as it told the story of of Jake of Jacob and his attempts to like go on to Hollywood success with its own complications that undoubtedly have its own relations to like Ed Brubaker's own struggles with Hollywood struggles that are also probably going to be like relevant to the criminal like series like that's debating from Amazon like they did this year. That's like its own terms, but then I but with the knives like like I was worried that Brubaker and Phillips just like disturb the great ending, the perfect circle they had given with the criminal, like in terms of like hey it's like we've got this like new like other media story that's going to like it's going to bring a lot of people like to the series, and we're just going to like disturb it because hey like we need the money and all. Well, the knives was really good and she was like actually just does a good job, like setting up future criminal stories going forward, and I really look forward to seeing what they're going to do from there. If like, they collect like all the stuff they're doing with Ricky Lawless going forward. So here you go, guys. But I mentioned like a series that hey was doing like better stuff going forward, and that's Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. This is a series that I dinged on last year because hey, like it was not like not doing its ongoing storyline like as well as like say One Punch Man going forward. And let me tell you, One Punch Man is still great, probably still like one of the best like superhero series going forward. And why it's not on here, well, it's like it's because One Punch Man has always been great, but Thunderbolt actually did a really good job of like seeing it come from behind. Like holy crap, you're actually like like delivering like stuff that was I was not expecting to see like in these in these like volumes from 2025. And holy crap, this was like a lot of fun, really entertaining, and it's like I want to see where Yasuo Ohtagaki is like going forward, like as he delivers like the series climax going forward, because like yeah, he's got the Federation like on the back foot, but he's also got the like the like the Nanyang Alliance and the Xeon Federation, like the Xeon Federation, like also facing like their own struggles as well. So yeah, I really want to see what he's doing from here as things like go forward into the climax, and also like as this climax involves like like a psych like a Jezeling Ace Gundam pilot, a it's like a preteen new type, and also it's a it's like a guy who is like has only one head. Yeah, it's like he's got a head, and he's just working with the people who just who are willing to recognize him like as a proper individual. So yeah, it's crazy, but it's like it's really kind of like insane in a way that you don't expect to see from Gundam going forward. So yeah, it's like yeah, I want to see what happens with Gundam Thunderbolt going forward, and maybe we'll get to see the final volumes in 2026. Maybe not, but I am so there for what's going next. And number three is like a series that has actually already ended, but is just dealing with the stuff going forward from the fallout of its characters, just living, what's going next, and that is the Serpent in the Garden, the last battle for England, and the story of Ed Grey. Yeah, this is a this is like Mike one of Mike Mignola's Mignolaverse series that tells you what Edward Grey, the Witchfinder, is doing when he's called back for his final battle against like against a more like the Avatar of Morgan Le Fay, like in order to like determine like the fate of England going forth in the post like Hellboy apocalypse of the Mignolaverse. Now, here's the thing. Like when you talk about this like a story like this, you think that, oh, I know how this is gonna go. It's like you got like a guy who's just like delivered his like his final storyline, and he's gonna come back for like, one last thing, and oh no, he's gonna like, like fight and then just die for the good of everyone, right? Well, oh, actually, in fact, this series is like really unique in the sense that I was I felt obligated by it because this is a 3 issue miniseries that featured the last art, well, from Ben Stenbeck, who was probably like one of the best successors to Mike Mignola's style, like in the Mignolaverse. Like he's a guy who just who has like really good has a really good detailed style, but he also just like has a lot of has more texture than Mignola normally does. I mean, Mignola like really does have like really great precise art, but Stenbeck also just has like lots of good like texture and style to it. So when I hear that, hey, like this is gonna be like, Simbeck's like, last, contribution to it, I want to get this in hardcover. And yeah, so when I hear that, this is like, a hardcover collection, it's like, oh man, it's like a 3-issue series. God damn it. It's like, I don't want to pay $25 for 3 issues, but god damn it, it's Stenbeck's like last contribution to the Mignola. God damn it, I'm gonna do it. And you know what? It was really worth it because it wasn't actually, about um it wasn't actually about Edward Gray's, like final battle, for the fate of England. It was really about like like Gulagarch, it's like the the persistent um fake creature from Mingle's previous stories, like that tried to like 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 deliver a victory to Morgan Le Fay. It's like it was basically this was basically like his final story and his attempt to deliver like like a victory to his lord, even after all the failures he had delivered up to this point. And it really felt like meaningful. It's like, even though it's like, we know what was going you kind of felt like what was going to happen. It's like, it still managed to surprise me in terms of like, when I realized like, oh, this is what it was about. That's actually really good and really affecting. As was like Mignola's, additional like, story pages like, to this volume. Because yeah, it's like kudos to Mignola for realizing that, oh shit, three issues of like a story. Maybe I need to actually, deliver like, a little incentive to like, the readers to like they can make this worth their while. And yeah, it was. So yeah, it's good stuff. And it's a really good example. Like, hey, if you're gonna deliver like, like a $25 hardcover, like, for your specific like fictional universe, Serpent in the Garden is how you do it. And then you get to number two, which is Fortune and Glory, the musical by Brian Michael Bendis, second Jacob Edgar. It's like this is a uh, a fantastic story that that I thoroughly enjoyed. It's like even as Bendis's work for Dark Horse and and elsewhere, has not like really been like yet up to the level of his like previous work at Marvel. But his story, like even though this is basically his story of like the time that he worked on the it's like on the doomed Spider-Man musical on on Broadway. Well, it's like yeah, it's like the bits there are really entertaining and insightful, but the meat of this graphic novel is all about his like his own history with with comics, superhero, crime fiction, create your own stuff, and it's basically a thoroughly enjoyable. It's like brilliant and like story of how he relates to superhero comics and how he got into the field in the first place. It's a lot of fun. It's like and even though like it's basically kind of a bait and switch in terms of like like hey yeah, I'm telling you, like this is like essentially about how I got like involved in like the Spider-Man musical. Well, here let me tell you about the actual like story about how he got involved in comics in the first place. This story about how he got involved in comics in the first place, it was really good, really entertaining, and just like thoroughly like enjoyable in terms of just, like how he just just like is a great raconteur. It has a great, like grasp of dialogue in terms of like, just like, getting you, the reader, to like, like go along with his like with his work. Like, yeah, he's done some utter, crap from working with Dark Horse over the year, like Joy Operations Volume 2. But reading Fortune and Glory the musical is just a reminder of just like, my God, it's like, yeah, this is how good you can be, Bendis. Please do more stuff like this, more personal stuff, going forward. Maybe, I mean, yeah, I know he's set to do more stuff with like Marvel going forward, but I get the feeling that, he's kind of like, interested in being like, hey, like, here's this guy you liked back in the day. And yeah, like you're gonna do more stuff that you liked from him, back in the day, not like any stuff, setting the standard going forward. There you go. But then you get to that's also probably relevant to like the my number one pick, which I honestly struggled with a lot because I not sure I wanted to like pick this because on one hand it's kind of like backward looking, but at the same time though it's kind of forward looking in terms of like what is succeeding in terms of like comics, superhero comics specifically, going forward. And also just, in terms of, what I want to see, from these superhero comics going forward, and just, what I want to read, going forward, and just what I'm not going to get to read going forward. Because, you know, I would really, really like it if the series, kept going, for a good long while. But it turns out that, the series is not going to get that chance. The series is actually going to be cut off at its knees, and maybe that's for the best. Maybe like it's fine that the series only exists for like like 4 volumes, but hey, it's like maybe like like there are like plenty of series that like hey, I like you got this, enjoy the series for just a specific amount of time, and hey, that's it. So hey, I'm giving my number one pick to Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Chris Chateau, and David Messina. This is a series that hey, like in the advent of DC's absolute universe, which has the publisher finally figuring out just hey, hey, this is what you can do for your own like ultimate series going forward, as well as like the only ultimate Marvel series going forward that basically like does what I want to see like from its character like going forward, and also just like delivering on the fact that hey, like there's like like its own setup, that this is I want to see you know like what it does here, like I want to see more of what it does here. I want to see more of like like Peter Parker being like an adult, and being a good husband to Mary Jane, being a good father to his 2 kids, being oh, and being a proper like photographer at like at the Daily Bugle. Oh, and also the like Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker, being proper newspaper guys. It's like at their own like it's like at their own version at their own spin just that version of the Bugle. Or it's like Gwen Stacy being a proper her version of Mysterio. Yeah, she's Mysterio in this universe. To Harry Osborn. It's like I want to see where all this stuff goes, but we're not gonna get that. It's like like there's like a specific finite like end to this to this stuff that's going to like wrap up with like with the next volume of Ultimate Spider-Man, and that I think is disappointing. So, but at the same time, though, it's also kind of like like freeing in the sense that hey, uh, wait, Marvel is just wrapping a series that that could have like gone on like more than it should have. Wow, that's honestly kind of like amazing. As is the fact that hey, I think that that is like really amazing considering that like how Ultimate Spider-Man just delivers what I want to see from a Spider-Man series going forward. It's compared to like what I've read from all of the absolute and ultimate titles going forward. I mean, yeah, it's like I think that like we do need if we do want like these superhero characters to like have a like have a shelf life longer than what we're currently experiencing, then we do need to reinvent them. And I think that yes, Ultimate Spider-Man is the very best of that. And yeah, maybe it's like my thoughts are just maybe like a bit backward looking in terms of that, but I but I still think that like if that's the future of the medium, then yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man represents, what I want to see, from from this from this mindset going forward. So yeah. So maybe like all like things will be different going forward in 2026. Like I sure, it's like I would like to have my mindset like upended by that. But in terms of like what I want to look forward to, well, we've got finales for Mob Saga 100. We've got Vinland Saga, wrapping up. Chainsaw Man is likely going to wrap its second part as well. And also there's the Ultimate Universe wrapping up as well, even though I'm not really like optimistic about like how the Ultimate Universe is going to wrap up because like Denise Camp is handling that, and yeah, it's like he's he's done okay for his superhero universe stuff. We'll see how that goes, but also we've got One World Under Doom at Marvel that I want to see how that turns out. X-Men: Age of Revelation that I hate. Like that's the reason for like how I want to how I'm like maintaining my like subscription for Marvel Unlimited, getting to read stuff like that. Hickman's like Imperial, like his reinvention of like of the Marvel cosmic universe stuff, and also like Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service Omnibus Volume 6, which hopefully come out this year. I can only hope. And also, what I'm going to talk about next time, which is the finale for Jackson Kelly, call um sorry, Colin what is it? Uh Colin Kelly, Jackson Langzig, and Christopher Cantwell's take on Star Trek, which is going to be like wrapped up in Lore War for next time. And yeah, I am thoroughly looking forward to talking about that, but I can't talk about it right now because I have not read the finale for that. But there you go. So
All right. Well, since you have the agenda set all up, I guess it sounds like a pretty good list. Um, any final thoughts?
yeah, it's like hopefully like next year like I'll have like a big like definitive thought for like what is like the best of the year. But you know we can only hope.
Still some format changes. All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
Later, everyone.